The practice of mindful breathing is very important. And we should not wait until the strong emotion come in order to practice. We have to train ourselves with that practice so that when the emotion comes, naturally you remember to practice. And emotion is something like a storm, and you feel that it's coming. And if you notice that the strong emotion is coming, you prepare yourself in order to receive it and to handle it. Drop anything you are doing, sit down or lie down and wait for it while practicing mindful breathing. In the sitting position or in the lying position, you breathe in and you become aware of the rising and falling of your abdomen. This is a deep breathing. For a strong emotion, we need deep belly breathing. We breathe in such a way that our stomach will rise as high as possible. And when we breathe out, we bring it down as much as possible. If you are in a sitting position, you may like to put your hand here to feel the rising and falling of your abdomen. Or if you are in a lying position, you may do the same. Instead of staying here on the level of the brain, you bring your mind down. You focus your attention down here on the level of the navel. You know, when there is a storm, when you look at the window, you see the tree standing in the storm. And if you look at the top of the tree, you see that the branches and the leaves are swaying back and forth violently according to the wind. So the level of our brain is like the top of the tree. Don't stay there in the time of a storm. Bring your attention down to the level of the navel. And that is why it's good to observe the rise and fall of your abdomen while breathing in and out. In the sitting position or in the lying position, just focus all your attention on your in-breath and the rising of rise of your abdomen. That's simple enough. And during that time, keep alive the kind of insight that we already have. I am much more than my emotion. I am form, feelings, perceptions, mental formation, consciousness. I am much more than one emotion. An emotion is something that comes, stays for some while, and will have to go away. I don't have to die just because of one emotion. I know I can handle an emotion with the practice of mindful deep breathing. I have survived emotions before. So we have that kind of insight we should remember, we should recollect. Mindfulness means also recollection. You have insight, you know things, but you do not know how to make good use of what you know. You have the insight, and you should know to make good use of your insight. The young person, she is overwhelmed by that strong emotion. She believes that she is only the emotion. She does not know that she is much more than one emotion. And she believes that the only way to end the suffering is to go and kill herself. That is a wrong perception. And that is why we have to remind her that she is more than a perception. That a perception is impermanent. It comes and stays for some time, and you have to go. And that kind of insight we can transmit to her, to him. Maybe later on, our portable telephone will have that function, reminding us. I'm going to tell the people in Google, because we shall have a day of practice together, that you should provide us with a kind of electronic device that help us to come back to ourselves. And when there is a strong emotion, that will invite the bell for us to breathe in and out. And it reminds us, dear friend, you are more than your emotion. You can handle your emotion with the practice of mindful breathing. You have already survived many strong emotions. You don't have to die just because of one emotion. I think that kind of thing will help the young person, because it helps touch off the insight that already is in him or in her. And just remember, just keep that insight alive and practice deep breathing, and you can survive the strong emotion very well. And when the strong emotion is gone, you say that next time it can come. I know how to handle. I'm not afraid. And if a mother knows how to do it, she can help her son, little boy or little daughter to do it. When the little boy has a crisis, a strong emotion, darling, hold the hand of mommy. Shall we breathe together? Let us breathe in. Oh, our stomach is rising. Our stomach is falling. Let us breathe together. Mother and son, mother and daughter. You can use your mindfulness. You can use your energy to help the child to focus his attention on the in-breath and out-breath. And you can help, and together you will allow the emotion to stay and for some time and to go. Because we are a practitioner, we can transmit to the child our energy, our practice. And you can train your child to do so. And if you can train students and children to do that, we may save their life. Because later on, confronting a strong emotion, then remember to practice. And they are not going to kill themselves. Because the number of young people killing themselves is very big in each country. In France, in Great Britain, United Kingdom, the young people kill themselves quite a lot. So the mindful breathing is to help us calm down our body, calm our feelings, our emotions. And we know that we need the insight in order to be able to truly relax our body and calm our emotion. And insight is not something that comes later on. As soon as you have mindfulness, concentration and insight are already there in mindfulness. And if you continue, concentration will be deeper and insight will be brighter. And with these three kinds of energy, you can deal with whatever pain that is happening in yourself. Yesterday we have learned that a practitioner knows how to generate a feeling of joy, a feeling of happiness at any moment of the day. That's the fifth and the sixth exercise proposed by the Buddha in the Sutra of Mindful Breathing. The fifth is to generate a feeling of joy, thanks to mindfulness. Because with mindfulness, you recognize the many conditions of happiness that you already have in the present moment. And you make joy possible right away. You make happiness possible right away. And that is the art of happiness. A good practitioner is capable of generating joy and happiness in his daily life, in her daily life, to nourish himself and to heal himself. And then a good practitioner also knows how to handle the pain in him or in her. And mindfulness is the kind of energy that helps you to recognize the pain, to smile to the pain. The energy that helps you to smile to the pain is mindfulness. You are not overwhelmed by your pain if you know how to smile to it. Hello, my little anger. I know you are there. I will take good care of you. That is smiling to your anger. I have smile to your body, but I don't have smile to your anger here. So as a practitioner, we should be able to smile to our anger, to our irritation. Smiling to it means you are aware of it. You don't try to suppress or to run away from it. And with the energy of mindfulness, you are strong enough to be with your anger, to be with your irritation, to be with your loneliness. And the first function of mindfulness is to recognize things as they are. The second function of mindfulness is to embrace and calm it down. Because mindfulness is a kind of energy. Your anger is another kind of energy. And the energy of mindfulness, recognizing the anger, embracing the anger, like a mother, a loving mother, holding her baby very gently. And you get a relief after a few minutes of practice. And that is the art of suffering. How to recognize the pain in you. How to calm down the pain in you. We have to train ourselves to do it. And we get a relief. And with other exercises of mindful breathing that follow, we can completely transform the pain, the afflictions in us. And we know that there is a deep connection between suffering and happiness. And we have learned that suffering plays a very important role in creating happiness. It's like the role of the mud in creating the lotus flower. Without the mud, you cannot create lotus flowers. The same thing is true with suffering and happiness. You need the suffering in order to, as materials, raw materials, in order to create happiness. And we know that there's enough suffering already there. You don't have to create more. The problem is to learn how to make good use of the suffering in order to create happiness. The problem is how to make good use of the garbage in order to create flowers. Because looking into a flower, you see the sunshine, you see the rain, you see the compost that has helped nourish the flower. And the compost is made of garbage. Garbage is suffering. So a good practitioner knows how to make use of the garbage in her, the suffering in her, and make good use of it in order to create something more positive, like understanding, compassion, joy. And this is an art, the art of suffering, the art of happiness. In Buddhism, we do not use the expression kingdom of God, but we do have the expression Buddha land, Buddha country. And many of us believe that the kingdom of God is a place where there is no suffering. I don't believe it. If there is no suffering, and then there is no happiness either. Because happiness is made of suffering. It's like the left is made of the right. The left cannot be by herself alone. The left has to interbe with the right. You cannot remove the right from the left. You cannot ask someone to come and bring the right to Boston and someone else to bring the left to New York. No. They are always together. Without this, the other cannot be. That is the teaching of the Buddha. This is because that is. So simple. So, trying to run from suffering and look for happiness is not wise. It's impossible to do so. And most of us are doing that, trying to run away from suffering and looking for happiness. We don't know that happiness is made of suffering. And what we should do is to learn how to make good use of suffering. Yesterday we have learned a very important thing. If you know how to suffer, you suffer much less. And seventh and eighth exercises on mindful breathing are to help you to suffer. You learn how to suffer. If you know how to suffer, you suffer much, much less. And then you know how to make good use of suffering to create joy and happiness. So the art of happiness and the art of suffering, they always go together. The kingdom of God is not a place where there is no suffering. Because if there is no suffering, people have no ways in order to cultivate understanding and compassion. It is by contacting suffering, getting in touch with suffering, looking deeply into the nature of the suffering, that understanding arises. Understanding suffering is very important. When you listen to the suffering with mindfulness and concentration, you will come to understand the nature and the roots of suffering. And understanding suffering naturally give birth to the energy of compassion. And the energy of compassion, once born, begins to heal yourself and heal the world. So understanding and compassion are born from suffering. It's like the lotus flower is born from the mud. That is why running away from suffering is not a wise attitude. You don't want to send your children to a place where there is no suffering, do you? Because in such a place, your child, your son, your daughter never have a chance to learn how to understand and how to love. And that is why there is suffering in the kingdom of God. So my definition of the kingdom of God is a place where people know how to make good use of suffering in order to create happiness and love.